is Lovegrove. I'm a designer, actually an industrial designer, so I deal with materials and technologies and resources as opposed to fashion or interior, although I am engaged in those things. Good design for me is rare, and it's becoming increasingly rare, partly because I don't want to be critical about things in general, but I think that the education is not good enough. I think often people go into the field of design now because they think it's cool and whatever, but I mean, people like myself or my generation, we didn't go into it for that. We went into it because it's a cultural activity. And of course, in the 30 years that I've been designing, things have changed. The pressure that's brought to bear on why has changed. Environmental issues, scale, population increase, resource drawdowns, and so on. So when you're engaged in industry, like myself, it's important to be very astute in your use of material resource. You asked me if I can sort of pick and choose, really. No, I can't. And that's the most ridiculous thing, because you never know, actually. We all live on the edge. And who was I with? I was with somebody recently, somebody quite famous architect, I think. And I was saying, we just never know. I mean, you just don't know if you're going to have work around the corner or not. And, I'm open enough not to have a problem with that. But remember, I live in London, and, we have industry, but we have Rolls-Royce jet engines and tractors and things that I don't design, So I live in a place where, sadly, it's a financial center. And the thought of going through all the effort to make something, to make money, when you can press a few buttons, it's something I have a problem with in London, I do. And that's one of the reasons I'm here, or I enjoy being in Italy, is there's still a culture here of making things. So one never knows what's round the corner, and people like me don't call anybody. I don't call companies and say, can I work for you? So I might die of starvation soon. It's an interesting year for me because I tend to set up objectives within a year. I make notes on what I want to achieve within a year. A lot of them don't come off, but I do that in a way in order to make sure that there is a consistency and harmony across all the projects I do. Remember that as a designer, one of the reasons I admire designers such as Mark Newson or whatever is that we're all working for very different people in different cultures on different products and different times. I mean, to see the DNA of that designer through all of that means the DNA has artistic DNA, aesthetic, philosophical DNA is so strong. It's worth its weight in gold. It's stronger than Armani, if you think about it, because we don't make our own things. We have to convince people to make our things for whatever reason. So this year, for example, I've had what I consider quite a healthy interest in space and the idea of aesthetic of space for a long, long time. And I'm intrigued by the fact that space has no design. It's a pure form of physics and engineering, although it's starting to be designed, because we live in an age now where we have this freedom to make light objects, fly things, move things. So actually design aesthetics are coming in. But if you look at the pure aesthetics of satellites, for example, this mylar gold material, an anodized object, it's not organic in the Zaha sense or my sense, but it's incredibly beautiful and enriching. And it's not applied, it's intrinsic. So the work that I do this year is intrinsic. And I just have a message on my phone from Patrick Schumacher. Patrick is Zaha Hadid's partner. I mean, Patrick is the man behind Zaha. He's incredible, Patrick. He's the leader in this whole new field of parametric design, which is actually transforming the world of making things. Zaha's architecture and the complexity of building these incredible shapes is through the work of Patrick. He just saw the chair that I did for Moroso at the fair, and the message was very beautiful. I'll read you the message if you like. Love the Superlight Alu chair, sublime. Interesting that the black color works best. Feels most refined. Best finish. I love the way the legs pull out of the shell. So that's that one, okay? And let me just, hang on. Ross, written in big letters. I was at Moroso, saw your chair. Beautiful, exclamation mark. Very, very strong project. Made me smile and made me proud. Have a good day, Constantine. That's enough, you see. So that gives you some insight into what I've designed this year. And it's something which has, I'm not interested in minimalism, because even Kapoor said minimalism without meaning is just cheap. And I read books on people like Tony Cragg, and Tony Cragg talks about replenishing the form pool, which means that we mustn't be just creating cheap geometries. We're in an age of producing very valuable organic geometries, and you know, I'm interested in that. And that is risk. That's high risk. So this chair that I've just done for Moroso, where we are now, it's remarkable for me that a company which probably has a turnover of about 35 million would spend around $1 million on doing an aluminium chair. I mean, what a risk. But if you work it all out, it's all done on the computer. It's all done on everything. Within something like a 12-week time frame by a small little company in Udine. And when you see it, it's perfect. I mean, it's because what you see on the computer is what's made. And I'm only looking for mistakes. So this is a new age where, living in London, I give high definition to my clients, not low definition, and then smoke a cigarette with a pencil, because that's ridiculous. So the mood I'm in right now with my work is to develop a little bit away from organic in favor of replacing organic with a material resource appreciation and definition.